Creating, building, operating, managing teams is a very big challenge for organizations big and small around the world. And there's all kinds of tools out there that are helping around the edges, but nothing's really gotten to the core of really advancing the state of the art in this area. And John, at Receptiviti, you've been able to build tools that help an organization understand the state of the culture, where there are strengths, where there are weaknesses, where you need to improve, where you have opportunities to improve. And Soman, at Ideal, you've been able to find ways to bring recruiters a whole bunch of new tools that really enhance the productivity of the hiring process and the efficacy of it. And Soman, when you approach companies, how engaged are they in using these tools already? Are you having to play a bit of a consulting role?
Over the last 20 years, we've made it very easy for people to apply to a position. So think about it. You literally click one button and you can apply to 1,000 different jobs. So if you're a recruiter, imagine what you have to face. You face thousands of applications. Problem number one, you can't get through all of them. On average, customers can only get through between 5 and 10% and ignore all of the rest. Problem number two is you can't accurately pick people. With all of this volume, people are having a hard time. This is where we help.
And John, understanding bias is a really key input to understanding culture. So how does Receptiviti address this challenge?
So we look at the language floating through organizations, email, messaging, and other sources. And we're analyzing the language in a rather unique way, looking at the language that people use unconsciously. And we correlate that with a huge volume of research that we've conducted to understand the relationship between language use and psychological state. And so in aggregate, we look at groups, teams, and departments and organizations and can actually understand trending stress levels, fatigue levels, satisfaction levels, and even things like engagement without using surveys.
We're still at the kind of the early stages. I think companies now have systems that bring in applicants, that can manage payroll. We have that set. But the next step where we're trying to make our recruiters, our staff more intelligent, that's where we are right now. That's, I would say, the next couple of years is taking what we have right now in the systems of record and kind of supercharging them, making them more intelligent.
Have you been able to put any KPIs for a business customer around the return to leveraging your platform?
We kind of measure our return in two ways. Number one, efficiency. That's like the home run. Can we make your team more efficient? So a big metric in recruiting is time to fill. How quickly does it take from application to the time you hire the person? So we've seen up to a 60% improvement in time to fill. And the other one, which is more magical, is attrition, which we call a quality of hire. Attrition, retention. We've seen retention improve by 20% in situations such as call centers, where they really kind of focus on those types of metrics. Pretty big improvement numbers.
Jonathan, do you think that there's a program for Receptiviti in a small business environment, or is this really something that's targeted at enterprise?
Catering to companies from as small as 35, 50 employees all the way up to thousands. We've got small businesses using our platform, and we've got banks using our platform. So I think regardless of the size of your organization, I think what we're seeing is a greater and greater emphasis being put on culture and being able to understand the employees within your organization. Because ultimately, if your employees aren't, if they're not feeling psychologically safe, if they're not in an environment where they can do their very best, they won't, and that's going to impact their productivity.